So it's Valentine's Day at time of recording this video, although this video will come out a few days, weeks after that. But you'd think for Valentine's Day you'd do a video where you'd talk about relationships and romances in Doctor Who. But today I'm going to be recording a video for later in the month that is actually going to be talking about the Collection box sets. It's time for another annual February Doctor Who, the Collection box set video from me. Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to what is now the 5th of the annual Doctor Who the Collection box set videos that I've been doing since 2021. So I know I got this one down because it was the easiest one to reach in a short amount of time, and also that the next box set to be released will be Season 7. So for this video, I'm actually going to have a quick look back at the previous 4 videos and say what predictions and theories I got right and what I got wrong, and then we'll go into a updated prediction list for 2025 onwards, post Season 7's release, of course, and see what we could be getting in the next couple of years and when. What's interesting is that throughout the last 4 years since I started doing these videos, that the Collection box set release pattern changed to what we knew it pre-COVID. When I first did the first of these videos, which was inspired by the Doctor Who guide, Alex Patterson, he initially did a video around 2019 or early 2020 where he did predicting Doctor Who box sets, and then he did another one just before or around the same time as my one, and then he did a third one later down the line. He hasn't done the third one since, so I don't know if he will do another one before the Collection box set range is finished, but at the rate that these box sets are going out, I completely understand why he hasn't done another one, and that's why it took me a couple of years to do an updated list, rather than saying, oh, I think this will come out this year or next year, or I hope this will come out this year, next year, year after, as I did with the previous 3 videos. So back when I did the first box set, that was just before Season 8 came out. We had to break for COVID because of the fucking pandemic, obviously. But prior to that, the box sets seemed to be coming out on a roughly 3 or 4 month basis. Like, Season 12 was July 2018, and that was the first one that was everyone was interested, and of course everybody lapped it up, so they were like, okay, let's get Season 19 out for the end of the year, and then starting from there, it was like every 3 or 4 months. Some of them got a bit delayed, but for 2019, we got 3 box sets. It was going to be 4, but Season 26 got delayed into early 2020. And then after the Season 12 re-release, because the first release, the first edition, was so popular, they had to make new ones. And then thankfully, the second editions are a bit more common, especially even more so after the standard editions came out in spring 2021. And then Season 14 was the last one before the pandemic put things on hold for 10 months, release-wise. It was going to be a bit sooner, but Season 8 was also delayed a little bit. But yeah, so we got 7 box sets out within the space of just under 2 years. Now let's have a look at the releases post the COVID pandemic, or at least the break during it that they took. The pandemic stuck around for a bit longer, but the break of the box sets, once they came back in March 2021, having a look then, not including the standard edition sets, we got a lot less in the terms of the releases. After Season 8 came out in March, we got Season 24 in June, and then Season 17 in December. So we still got 3 releases in 21, but the gaps were starting to get a bit longer. And then starting from 2022, we've only been getting 2 box sets a year. There was a 6-month gap to Season 22's, and then that was June. Then Season 2 was December that year. It was a bit of a smaller gap to Season 9, coming out in March of 23, but then since then it seems to be spring, autumn release for the box sets, with Season 20 in the autumn, September specifically, for 2023. And then last year it was March, October for the 2 sets. And of course the next one will be Season 7, which will be coming out in a few weeks' time on the 3rd of March. So that one is going to be... that one's pretty much round the corner. But yeah, we seem to be stuck with 2 releases a month. At the moment it's spring, autumn. Before that it was summer, winter. So that's a big change that's happened since the first list that was done just before Season 8, where the optimism of potentially getting 3 or 4 box sets a year from 2019 was still kind of a hope. Like, the pandemic was a bit of a dip, but maybe we'll pick it back up again afterwards. And like Alex Patterson, I was under the highly optimistic belief that that was going to be the case. We're going to go back to 3 releases at least post-pandemic. But of course the war in Ukraine and the rise in inflation, as well as the results of Brexit coming into more effect with the UK financially, alongside the COVID pandemic stuff, has kind of stumbled the payment for the making of the discs and the box sets, specifically the limited editions. The standard editions, to a lesser extent, probably more for the discs rather than the actual packaging. But the limited editions have the bells and whistles extras. I mean, look at this. This is such a cool type of box to look at it. It's so cool, and it's probably because of that is why they're a bit more expensive post-pandemic break than they were before that, because of the real-world situations. Plus the fact that they are paying for the standard editions at the same time, which initially were going to be, once they caught up with the limited edition releases, they were going to be more 12 to 18 month gaps, but they seem to be stuck on around 24 at the moment. So they're 2 years behind their limited edition. Season 9 standard edition, if it's not out already, should be coming soon. Or coming out around this time, or soon around this time at least. So the standard editions are stuck 2 years behind their initial limited edition releases, as opposed to the 1 to 1.5 years that they said they were going to be once they caught up a little bit. That's why they did double releases for seasons 12 and 19, and then 18 and 10 pretty early on, before doing them one at a time. But again, the standard edition's release pattern has also been affected, possibly by the same reasons. They have to reprint the discs, they have to put them in the new packaging, and alongside the limited editions being produced at the same time, it is costing quite a bit of money to make these sets, which of course is why they're going up. They went from about £40 for season 12 and season 19, and now we're up to about 55 for the latest one, give or take various sites and outlets raising or reducing amount of price, and not including P&P if you're buying them online. So basically, the first list that I did for this set, this 2-page list, basically listing 3 to 4 box sets a year, 5 in 2023's case, from 2021, apart from 2025, which, funnily enough, was the last 2, with the possibility of the Wilderness Years added, noted at the bottom in case that ever did happen. The Wilderness Years has only always been speculated, it's not been confirmed yet. It was with that first The Doctor Who Guide release schedule that I first heard of the possibility of that box set being a thing if they ever wanted to do it. And I think that idea just kind of stuck around, or the idea was kind of a general assumption thing. And it is something that could be possible, certainly more likely than the new series box sets being done. Watch Benny's video for more information about that. But, you know, I didn't expect season 2 to come out in 2022, at least in the timeline that actually happened when we were waiting on what the 12th box set could be. I said it should be season 20, but it could have been anything from the 70s or 80s. And then we got the massive surprise, probably the biggest surprise since the box sets first started, that it was going to be season 2, the first Doctor box set, the first from the 60s. We didn't expect them to get that far because, one, they wanted to have the animated episodes in there, even though they weren't going to necessarily wait for them. And second, because of the missing episodes, they might want to have some more time, if not to animate them, then maybe to reconstruct them. But because it is only the 2 missing episodes of The Crusade, I guess they were okay with doing that. Fine and dandy, that's fine. Get it out. And yeah, we got season 2 by the end of 2022, the 12th release of the series. And whilst the releases were now starting to have more slower releases, it was still pretty neat to know that the first 60s box set was before we got to the halfway mark, which would be 13 to 14, if we're just doing the 26 seasons, not including the wilderness years. So, yeah, I was surprised that season 2 was going to be released then. It was going to be released before season 20. It was going to be released before some more of the 3rd and 4th Doctor box sets. We were on a bit of a break from the 4th Doctor stuff at that time, until season 15 came out last year. My point is, it is very possible we could get Wilderness Years box sets, and even Revival series box sets. And whilst the Wilderness Years one, I wouldn't be surprised about if they did that. I'd be surprised of the timing, unless it was towards the very end, or if it was in the very middle, which we've just kind of passed already. But I'd be extremely surprised that we would get new series box sets, Revival series box sets, even though, yes, it is possible theoretically, but logistically or realistically, not so much. Again, check out Benny's video for that. Again, we've been surprised quite a bit in the past. So, yeah, I'd be surprised if they did do it, but I would not say it's impossible. And the reason I did 5 for 2023 on my original list was because I was hoping to replicate 2003 with the DVDs, where they'd have a box set for each Doctor, or in the case of season 21 for the 5th and 6th Doctors. But I couldn't get a 2nd Doctor on there, so I just made the last one of 2022 a 2nd Doctor, and the first one of 2024 also a 2nd Doctor. But again, this list is like like a small percentage of this came through. I predicted season 17 coming out in 2021, although I did say September, October, and it ended up being December. Season 20, which I also said should have been the 12th release after season 22, in the 2022 video, which I did for the Davidson month. I said that should have been the 12th box. It ended up being the 14th box in 2023. So later than predicted and requested. But, well, whatever. And the same for Patrick Troughton, where we've still not yet received a Troughton box set when I did that video in 2023. And at least season 20 did come out later that year. So, because I did mention that in that video, and did get that in 2023. But the Troughton sets have still got to be started. We finished McCoy as well, so I know all 3 of those seasons have got a bit more work to do. But considering the next box set, season 7, is the 17th box set, we are coming close to wrapping up all 26. There is only really, I think it's 3? I think it's 3 box sets, 4 box sets. It's 4 box sets from the 70s and 80s left. 1 from the 80s, 3 from the 70s, and then you've got the last 5 from the 60s, not including the Wilderness Years. So out of the remaining 9 box sets that are left, not including the Wilderness Years, in which case that might add on 1 more, but of the seasons, out of the remaining 9, 5 of them are from the 60s. 3 of which are 2nd Doctor, with a bit of 1st Doctor in the first one. Out of the remaining 4, 3 of them are from the 70s, and only 1 of them is from the 80s. So we practically finished the 80s besides season 21, and we are close to finishing the 70s. Season 7 will be 1 more box set closer to the 70s being complete. Other predictions I did get right was season 22 coming in 2022, and I put the later dates of August, September. It came out in June. But I did have 3 other box sets listed coming out in between, which didn't happen. Between season 17 and season 22, 2 of which are still not out yet. That's 11 and 16. And then season 20, as I mentioned, was November of 2023. I got none of my 2023 predictions right. Those were seasons 7, 13, 21, 25, and 1. Season 5 was also predicted for 2022. That's also not come out. Season 25 came out in 2024. 7 is next month at time of recording, and the rest have yet to be released. 2024, I got season 15 predicted right, and also listed that as August, September, but it actually came out in March. Season 9 had actually come out sooner in 2023, and season 2 in 2022. but Season 6 has still yet to be released. And finally, 2024, I've got Season 4 and Season 3. I got none of my predictions of 2023 right in my 2021 list. Of 2021, I got one of my two predicted for the later in the year correct, as what ended up being the last of those ones. And I got 122 and 124 release correct, but none from 23. And I've only got 2 from 25 on this initial list, so unless Season 4 or Season 3 end up being the next box set, which is after Season 7, which is extremely unlikely for both, especially Season 3. There's a reason why I put it last. Unless either of those two end up being the next box set, all the Wilderness Years, which I said could potentially be released between 2022 and 2025, or a possible 8th Doctor box set, which was the alternative to a Wilderness Years set. Other than that, I do not expect my 25 predictions to end up being true. So out of 17 box sets predicting when they'd come out, 18 if I counted the Wilderness Years, currently I've only got 3 right. And even then, I didn't get the months correct, or even time of the years. So we'll see if Wilderness Years or Season 3 or 4 end up being this year. I'm not expecting those latter two, maybe Wilderness Years, but we'll see. On my new list, I have listed it in a year where it's one of 2 releases, because we're now just sticking to 2 releases per year, apart from the last one. But it is possible they could release 3 box sets for that year if they did do a Wilderness Years set, but we'll see how it goes. Before moving on to the updated 2025 predictions list for the rest of the collection, I will say that last year with my 2024 releases prediction post Season 15, if we would get 1 or 2 sets out, we only got 1 or 2 more, 2 or 3 in total. We only got 1 more set, so had total of 2, but I was correct in one of my 4 possibilities being correct, those being Season 1, for reasons I'll touch on in a bit. Both Seasons 5 or 6, possibility of either of those starting off the Troughton era, and Season 25 to wrap up the 7th Doctor, another 80s box set, and the year before was the 60th anniversary, and Season 25 was the 25th anniversary. So with Season 15 being the latest Tom Baker season release, and by the looks of it, John Pertwee having biannual, every 2-year releases from 2019 onwards, then and they seem to be in the odd numbered years, 19, 21, 23, and now 25. More on this in a bit as well. But yeah, because of that theory, then yeah, 25 was looking more likely out of all of them, but there was still the possibility it could be 1 for the reasons I'll explain, and either 5 or 6 to start Troughton. And Season 25 ended up being the last box set of 2024. Now, as for so my prediction of Season 25 being released in 2024 in that video also came true, even though I did place it a year earlier on the original list. So I guess I technically did get 4 predictions right, but 3 from the original, and in the 2024 video it was 1 in 4 chance of a most likely possibility, and still a 1 in, that was the 15th box set, a 1 in 11 chance of overall, 1 in 12 counting the Wilderness Years. So the reason for the Season 1 thinking it might come out then, other than the 60th anniversary happening the year before, is because of the rights to an unearthly child. Again, watch Benny's video about that for more information. But as far as I'm aware, there was a rights deal sorted in around 2005, 2006 for the DVD release of the beginning box set, which I do have, but it would take me a few minutes to dig out to show it, so I'm just going to show a picture of the box set. It's just much easier. Sorry, me in editing. So, from what I hear, the rights for the home video releases, like the DVD, Blu-ray, we might be okay with that. I think it was supposed to be a 20-year deal, and the DVD box set came out at the end of January 2006, so we might still be within a chance to get the Season 1 Blu-ray box set, at least a limited edition, out before these rights either expire or they are about to expire, or we have a few extra weeks kind of leeway, maybe a month or 2, and then it's all well and good, and it doesn't affect you know who is currently holding the streaming rights from being released. Like, he declined payment for them, despite being offered a lot of money. And yeah, that's why they're not on iPlayer, and probably quite hard to find on other streaming services in the UK, other than maybe YouTube, and even, in fact, the BBC and Doctor Who YouTube channels have been losing clips and stuff from their channels, or privating them at least, because of this, and The Adventure in Space and Time was re-edited for when it was repeated on BBC 4 after the Daleks in colour, and uploaded to iPlayer. So, yeah. But the home video releases should still be okay for at least another year, or just under another year, maybe with a little bit of a leeway, maybe to get them into February or March, but I'm kind of worried that if they haven't, once they started, they heard news about this, but they knew they still had some time to get season 1 out before these rights expired, and they can't negotiate a new deal like the BBC couldn't for iPlayer. These sets are still released by BBC Studios. If they can't get the new deal sorted, then they've got to get the box set out under the existing deal before the deadline passes, and that's why I thought season 1 was a possibility for a 2024 release. Hell, still think it should be a 2025 release now, or at the very latest, early 2026, because by then the set is going to be, it might not be coming out, or it's going to be a while until once they get that deal sorted. It could even be the last box set out if they're not careful. And this goes double for the standard edition sets, because I thought those could be under the same constraints, but the discs are pretty much going to be the same, so they might get away with that being released a bit later. They might be okay with that. But yeah, now we got to make sure the limited edition gets out before the end of that deal, so that if the standard edition is okay to come out post deadline and no new deal has come out, but they're still able to say, but this is okay to release later because it's the same discs and packaging is similar to the other one, then that might be okay. But we definitely need to get the limited edition set out as soon as possible if no deal is to be renewed and the existing one is going to hit deadline or end of use this time next year. So I kind of went on a bit of a season 1 tangent there, didn't I? Anyway, so my initial plan for this video was to do reflections on the previous 4-year video predictions, and then do a new list of predictions for the releases after season 7, the 2025 list. But both videos are now going to be quite long. This first part is looking around half an hour in terms of footage. Even after editing, it could still be a bit of a kind of a longer one. And the other one is looking to be like roughly an hour and 10 without edits. So I will cut them down, of course. There's lots of bloopers, lots of mistakes. But I do not think it would be a good idea to put the two together in one video, because it would be a really long one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this first part be its own separate video, and then the second video will be the prediction list 2025 edition, and we'll just have that be the main, it'll be its own thing. So thank you for watching this part of the February 2025 double bill of collection box set videos, and I'll see you guys next time for part 2, where we do the updated 2025 edition of the list, predictions list. See you guys next time. Goodbye.